Welcome to the Marketing and Me podcast. If you're eager to grow your health and wellness business via effective marketing methods while maintaining your own health and wellness, this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Leanne Shelton, a bubbly, driven, chocolate-obsessed, positive thinker and action taker who helps business owners just like you overcome their fear of failure to step up and show up in the scary online world. Because I know you have a message that needs to be heard, and I know you want to make a big impact on the world. By becoming more visible in the online space, you can attract and retain your ideal customers. I can help you do this by putting together effective and engaging marketing strategies and copywriting at Right Time Marketing. So feel free to book in a free 15-minute chat with me after listening to today's episode. The details are in the show notes. And today I'm joined by my guest, Silvana Patrick. Welcome, Silvana.
Hello, everyone. Thanks
Hello.
for having me, Leanne. It's going to be very fun today.
Yes. Oh, it's always fun with me. Even if I say so myself. So Silvana and I met another BX connection. Those who've listened to the podcast will know I'm well connected in that area. And I thought it'd be so good to have someone like Silvana, who's a personal stylist, come into the show. A lot of people know that I always wear a touch of turquoise or aqua. I've always got that on me somewhere. That's part of my style. But yes, I know some people say they don't have style. You have my husband who still wears clothes from 20 years ago, and that's his style. But yes, I thought it'd be so good to bring her on and talk about this in a bit more detail and how you can make it work with your branding. So just to give everyone a little bit more information about who Silvana is. She is a world-class personal stylist and brand specialist. She founded her boutique consulting company 10 years ago after spending 15 years in the corporate world, where she helped men and women unleash their unique style with a fresh and modern approach. She also has an international reputation, having run her business in cities like Sao Paulo, New York, Doha, probably pronouncing this wrong, Melbourne, and now she's based in Sydney. Her corporate experience and profound knowledge of the fashion industry, combined with her understanding of both physical and physiological aspects of styling, translate into very powerful results. And this is what sets her apart from her competitors. She's passionate about helping people portray a consistent image that is in line with all the other aspects of their personal brand, which is of paramount importance for the ending result. So cool. And to have that international reputation, like all over the world, that's just so cool. Have you always been in this industry?
I started in fashion many moons ago, and long story short, I quit the fashion industry, entered the corporate world, and then I started my consulting business. So summing up very briefly.
Yeah. And so it was like, when did you decide to start the consulting side? Like, was this a catalyst? Was it something that happened that drew you towards it?
Like I said, I mean, I'm a fashion designer by background, so I studied fashion. I always loved fashion. I didn't have a B plan as growing up. All I could think of was, doing something, creating fashion. And then that was the natural path. I had a very, very fast ascending career. And then I ended up, my last job, it landed me to Vogue New York. That's where I realized that I wasn't in the right industry. I didn't like the culture. I didn't fit in. And back then, there was not styling going on. I mean, there was, of course, very, very remote for celebrities, but not as it is today. So I quit entirely the industry and entered the corporate world, as we do. And it stayed there for too long enough. So at the beginning, it was quite difficult, right? Because I was still portraying myself as a stylist, and was still very young. It was not for the right reasons. But when I realized the importance of the appearance, personal appearance, then my career took off. It was like it was not instantaneous. Obviously, it took me a long time to realize that, but when I did, my career took off. And then like it's hard when you were in the middle of the chaos and things are happening and you don't stop to think, is this what I really want for the rest of my life? I was transferred back to the US and then Melbourne. That hence the too many moves. So then I moved to New Zealand, and next is going to be Italy, and I realized I was not going to stop. And then coincidence or not, I met my husband in New Zealand. I decided to quit the industry and start my consulting business, which was I was planning to do, but that was like the trigger point, right? Getting married, having a child, and starting my business. How easy is that?
Oh yeah. So there's always I love that, because I'm always interested to hear about the journeys of my guests, because what brought you to where you are today. And yeah, it's funny, like, oh well, the past background in fashion and suddenly what you're doing now, and that just all kind of welds together nicely. That's really cool. And so obviously you have a lot more flexibility doing the consulting kind of work. You're not traveling constantly with a young family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it gave me the lived experience that I can now, really help my clients with, in the career ascendance, because I went through the phases. I went through, a young stylist transitioning to a corporate woman, and then, a corporate woman transitioning to a businesswoman, and becoming a mom and moving internationally and dealing with extreme cultures. It's not just different cultures, but extreme cultures as well. So that was all enriching in terms of how I build my business today, and I run my business today. So yeah, I mean, when I started my consulting business, then the whole styling was much more popular. And then I saw, oh my God, why have I not think about this before? Because that's actually what I love. It's not creating fashion itself, but helping particular women. I do men as well, but women are closer to my heart. So, in feeling more confident in how they, present themselves and getting that competitive advantage, because as being a career woman, I realized that we work so much, and not often we make more money or as much money as men, and we have so much more things to think about. We have hair, makeup. We cannot just afford wearing the same outfit every day like men. Couldn't care less, that kind of thing. So adds cost to the whole thing. So that became one of my pillars, really.
Yes, and that's so true. And because I am often networking, I'm always thinking, well, what did I wear last time? I have to wear something different. I have to, or mix up my outfits. I've got I read a book about the capsule wardrobe type thing, which you might talk about. And I'm like, all right, well, I only really need to have a couple of these types of skirts, or different tops, and then mix it up. And sometimes I tuck it in and it looks like a dress. And but yeah, there's a bit of that pressure. And also my hubby doesn't get this, but with getting my nails done, because that's part of me and my presentation. And he's like, you really need that. Well, it looks like I'm well groomed and I'm presented, and it's right now they're like emerald green and sparkly. For me, it's a bit of a confidence boost. I talk with my hands, I type with my hands, I feel good about it. And so yeah, it's psychological as well as looking good.
Yes, very psychological.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And he doesn't get that, but women do. So going back, so what is a personal stylist? And what do you do? Like, what does a typical day look like, or when you're working with a client from start to finish? What does that all look like?
I like to say that I'm an image consultant. It's more encompassing. So it encompasses the personal styling per se. So the personal styling is the mere, wardrobe coordination, a wardrobe edit, and wardrobe maintenance. So you're gonna create a wardrobe that will fit your lifestyle, your budget, your personal style, and everything. So it can be as comprehensive as you want. It can go from Monday to Friday, or it can go 7 days a week, or even extend to your holiday trips or business trips and anything. So the sky's the limit. Like you're the one who The client's the one who's going to dictate how committed they are. It's a two-way thing. Don't think that I'm coming with a wand and, to a wardrobe and everything. It needs involvement from the part of the client. It's not my imposition it's a guidance. So we're going to find together who you are in terms of, like you look in the mirror and you say, oh my God, that's so me. That it gives you the goosebumps,
Yeah. So do you look at their wardrobe and say, all right, pick what's something you feel you're best in, and let's try and replicate that across your whole wardrobe? That type of thing?
It can be, obviously, but what we're trying to fix here is some patterns, right? Because people, why do they, why the conundrum, I have a lot of wardrobe, nothing to buy. It's because they buy compulsively without planning. We plan our lives, but we forgot completely about our wardrobe. So we buy, oh my God, I need to comfort myself, I need to reward myself, or that thing was on sale, or oh, I deserve this or that, but there's no planning, right? Do I really need this right now, right? Does it really fit me? Is it really me? Right? Am I going to wear? Is it easy maintenance? We have to think about, like busy women, we have to think about, like some garments are only dry cleaner. Is a cost involved? It's time involved for you to pick it up, drop it off. So we really have to be meticulous about all these details, right? Is it hand wash? Oh my God, do I have time? Do I live in a tiny apartment? I don't even know where I can buy wash, my little
yes,
details.
or ironing. I don't own anything that needs ironing anymore. Like it's
Exactly.
all, if I hang it as soon as it's wet, and if it doesn't dry straight, then it's going.
Yes, exactly right. So all these things, they add to your routine. They add stress, because if you leave things to the last minute, you have your family to look after in the morning and all the things you have to think about, that important meeting, and you have a stuffed wardrobe that you can't find anything and you get frustrated. It sets the tone for the day, simple as that. So having less is more, less complicated pieces that you can visualize, including accessories, and the right colors and the things that really complement you, right? And dealing with ratios. And we all want, the whole point of styling is creating visual balance. And there are elements and ways to get there. So there are simple steps that everybody can, do in order to achieve that. And the only thing you can do after you've gone through all of that is just to maintain, which is pretty much just, buy one piece, get rid of one. Could be simple as that, because otherwise you just keep stuffing in as well.
Yes, I do love a bit of leopard print. I bought a leopard print top, but then I'm like, this is nice, but how can I wear this with my turquoise and aquas? And so I've saved it for my social going out top, not my business. Can't wear it for business because it doesn't work. But yeah, no, I agree with that. You don't get yourself all overwhelmed. I have a fairly simple wardrobe of just, few skirts and tops and pants and stuff like that. And look, I'm not a big clothes shopper anyway, because it's like, I prefer it without the kids, and then sometimes a bit of guilt when I leave them behind. And then, but I try to do it twice a year. I try to go out for 3 hours, which is, 3 hours free parking. Give myself 3 hours on my own, just go through the shops and try new pieces and things like that. And that's my little special thing. But yeah, so how important is style when it comes to personal branding?
Yes, like I said before, the style is, once we determine your style, right? Because like I said, we all have style. Perhaps it's, you don't have it lapidated. Perhaps but it also evolves, right? It's not that you were born one way and then you continue the same way. So once we get to the core of your style per se, that's who your, where your brand, like with authenticity, cohesiveness with your the other aspects of your brand. So for example, you are, you were, one of your pillars is environment. You are, and then you run like a truck, like for example, you know what I mean? There's a discrepancy there.
Yeah.
So if you run, bump into a client on the weekends, you're wearing sweatpants, like it's that
I can't do that. I know I can't go down to like a local supermarket. I'm always thinking, what if I bump into someone? So I actually, I don't own any like sweatpants, track pants. If I do go out in casual wear, it'd be like active wear, because that's kind of okay. But I'm always mindful of how I'm being perceived, even in my days off. So
it doesn't mean to be slave, right? But you cannot just be somewhere else, just all of a sudden, someone that people won't recognize. Like, like
you'll see
have a presence online, and often I get recognized by people that I don't even know. They say, "Oh, you're Silvana," no. And then, if I'm wearing, like my nails are chipped, or that kind of thing. That for me, it's not how I want to be perceived. Like there's no cohesiveness to it doesn't mean that I'll be dressed up and wearing heels on weekends. No, that's not it. But it's just still put together, still, putting an effort to bring my image forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think as well, on that note, when, we were in lockdown, or now that people are working a lot from home and doing the Zoom videos, I mean, all through 2020, I was still dressing for work, even though I was in my home office, because, well, for me, my mindset, I'm ready for work. And also I'm like, well, I know people only see my torso, but I still want them to see me presented for work. So I would still wear makeup, like a bit of foundation, or, just or colored, we've got tinted moisturizer or whatever, and a bit of lipstick. I would still go that effort, because I'm like, I'm still doing business, even though I'm online. So that was something else. I had to tell people that, because they're like, oh, I'm at home, I just wear my casual clothes. But you're doing a business meeting or whatever. So you've got to be in your business wear. To me, it makes sense.
Of course, I just wrote a book, which is going to soon be launched. And I did a lot of searching with psychologists on that, because we always heard that the levels of productivity, when people always work from home. It's not a new thing. So it became obviously more overall popular now, but it's always been the case. And it's being proven that when we dress, like we have a routine as we would if you went to the office, that boosts your your productivity levels. That's for sure. You again, you don't need to be wearing high heels or anything like that, but you
I had slippers on under my under my desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it was. I wouldn't wear pajama pants, but my slippers were, my feet were in comfort.
You have to be more comfortable, because you were stopping and doing chores. Perhaps that's no way around that. The other thing is that when we we literally zoomed. So there's less scope for distraction, and people pay more attention to your skin condition. It's important that you wear the color that flatters you, because that's all that people are going to see, and the light will be reflected back to your face. So you look more rested. So that kind of thing is extremely important. Yes, the hair, like in good conditions. So there's more, like I said, like you were more zoomed, and some people
you're right, because if you're having a physical meeting around a table, there's so many other, I guess, your senses are ignited by so many different things. There's that person there, and then what's that over there, and you're looking at your notes, and your gaze is moving a lot more. But if it's just everyone's, look, there may be lots of people in the Zoom meeting, you might see 10 boxes there, but still you can really focus on each individual person. And if they speak up and their face takes over the screen, it's like, actually, it's on another note, I know a lot of people have apparently been getting more Botox and things, because they're paranoid how they look.
Dental treatments and, yes.
Yeah, because like, oh no, this is how I look, because you don't usually see yourself. It's a bit distracting. I'm getting used to it. So how does someone uncover the colors that suit them best? What are your recommendations for that?
Look, I think the other stylists will hate me for saying that, but because, some of them make a lot of money on just personal coloring sessions. But I've always struggled with that, simply because we women, especially women, and men, obviously men go gray as well. That changes their coloring. But there are two aspects to personal coloring. One is your undertone, and we women know that because of the makeup concepts. So we are either warm, cool, or neutral in terms of undertone. That won't change. You were born cool, you will die cool.
You can get a bit of a tan, but you're still yeah.
Exactly. And then the next aspect is the tone, right? The tone will change throughout the year. And then if you dye your hair, if you go gray, and that will change your tone as well. So you're gonna get softer or deeper. So going back to the undertone, if you are cool, and that you can find out, there are a couple of little tricks. One, you can figure out by looking at the color of the veins at the back of your wrist. So some people are quite olive, like very warm, and then they are warm. Their undertone is warm. If you see that your undertone, your veins are quite blue, so you're cool. These colors, some people, it's like, oh, I can't figure out, so they're probably neutral. And another way to see is put a white paper next to you. If you notice that you're warmer than the paper, so you're warm. If you notice some bluishness, then you're cool, right? So there's two ways you find out about your undertone. This will determine your color bases. If you're cool, blue-based colors. If you're warm, yellow-based colors. Doesn't mean that you have to wear blue or red, but yellow colors based on these two colors. And then the tone will determine the depth. The depth, when they're lighter or darker. So if you get a lot of contrast between your hair, your skin, then you get a better depth. So you get brighter colors. Because if you wear something paler, it will wash you out.
Yes, and that's what I find. So, you can tell I've got those watching video or seeing photos, I'm very olive. So I can't do pale pinks. I can't do pastel colors whatsoever. Exactly. It has to be bold colors. So
But in the future, if you go gray when you get older, and then that will soften up.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Or if you, decide to become, blonde or anything like that, that can be the case.
I tried that once. I look back at photos and think, no. I felt like looking back at photos when it wasn't blonde. It was very, very light brown. So I guess it was kind of blondish. But my skin just so washed out. And then when I went brown again.
Looks thick, right? Yeah, it's so funny. It's science. It is science. And the other reason why I don't focus so much on colors, I just give this guidance to my clients. But the other thing is that why base an entire wardrobe on certain colors that will change, regardless if you want it or not. We're going to age anyway. And another thing is that it's only valid for your top or around your face. It won't matter what you're wearing at the bottom part of it, because it's just what's going to reflect upon your face. So that's the thing. I just give this guidance. And, and even at the end of the day, I have some clients who say, but I love that color. I love blue, although I'm warm. I said, yeah, but, blue doesn't love you, but...
You can love it. It doesn't love you back.
But it's still a choice. You can still pursue a platonic passion.
You have the blue necklace or something. So there's something, but you just can't have the dominant.
If you love it, you wear it because you feel great. And what doesn't matter, right? It's just a guidance. it's not to be, like rules are made to be broken. I tell my clients as well,
Yeah. And what about like patterns and stuff? Do they go with every tone, or should they be avoided at sometimes?
It doesn't matter the tone, because it depends on the color of the patterns, right? But the thing with patterns is just the size.
Yes.
So the function of pattern is to bring the attention to an area. So if you want, and the larger the pattern, the larger they amplify. So if you want to, appear larger, yes, go for a large pattern with deep contrast. If that's not the case, so you have to change and wear dainty, smaller and less contrasting patterns. And then some patterns like, stripes, they're normally very high contrast. And animal prints normally as well. Animal prints tend to be warm, so if you cool, they're not going to be suitable, although there are some animal parts that have some different coloring to them, which is something new. It's not from the original pattern. So you having these guidelines. The smaller the frame, the smaller the pattern should be, as a rule. That's the only thing that you probably, you can realize that if someone is on the petite side wearing a big pattern, it's just going to get overwhelmed. That's all.
Yeah, makes sense. And so what are, like I mentioned a little bit about the capsule wardrobe thing, but yeah, what are some key pieces of clothing every woman and every man should have in their wardrobe? Is there like essentials that you recommend?
Yes, absolutely. When I said earlier that there is a ratio, the ratio is when you build a foundation for both your wardrobe and your outfit should be roughly 80% of classic neutral pieces. And then the classics are those pieces that they're timeless, they'll never come out of style. They are in neutral tones, so again, they will be always very timeless. But then they can look a bit boring and sad, right? If just you're wearing just a monochromatic suit and like a black suit and a white shirt, it could be a bit boring. Obviously, they have to be impeccably tailored to your body shape. Nothing too loose, nothing too tight, comfortable enough. And then with the remaining 20%, these are the pieces or accessories or odd shaped pieces that will bring style, your personality, your signature. People say, oh my God, like often people say, oh, I saw a pair of shoes that they reminded me of you, that kind of thing that people will remember you by. Whether if it's your thing, a scarf or a bold necklace or something, or a color like in your case, something that people will relate to you and to your brand. So whatever it is, and it doesn't need to be a company brand. It could be just your personal brand, right? Which is now being very valued. So you go into a job interview, for example, and you're wearing something that it's a tiny little bit of your personality, that's really, really valuable.
Yeah. So I always have, so I guess, right now I'm wearing like a bright red top. I had a networking event this morning and people are like, oh, you're wearing red. But yes, but I'm wearing my turquoise necklace. So that's pretty much what you were saying. And actually was my nana's, which is really cool because it's something I would choose at the shops, and it was in her collection. I'm like, oh wow, that's just, got to get that. And so I have fairly plainish things. I'm not big on patterns. I don't like florals. I have one floral item in my wardrobe, which is a retro kind of style, which suits me more than pretty floral. I can't do pretty floral. And I've got some black and white patterns. They're kind of my pattern-y stuff. But now I agree with that. And I mix and match my necklaces. So pretty much summertime or the warmer months is where I had the necklaces as my accessories. The cooler months, I had the scarves. I do have turquoise and aqua scarves. And so bring those out and that's where they come in. And I had a question as well. So what are some mistakes that you think people make when it comes to their personal styling?
Just adopting trends just for the sake of it, not knowing that it suits them. For example, like you just said, like, for example, every spring you see florals all over the place. And just because you feel, oh my God, I have to fit in, I have to have a floral dress, that it's completely not you, right? Or a style, or it could be anything that's on trend. Like the 1980s at the moment is pervasive. Or as much as I feel nostalgic growing up in the 80s, I think they're hideous, right? They don't, they are cool, don't get me wrong, and they have all these modern connotations. It's not completely translated to the original 1980s. But in saying that, like wearing, for me, with my type of body, wearing these complete oversized, blazers and crop pants and cropped top. Oh no,
I was going to say the crop tops.
So you have to know where to invest. And again, trends are supposed to, you're supposed to have fun with them, and not be funny.
That's your 20%. So you can have your little bits and pieces.
They insert modernity, like you look more current, if this things, but you have to really, really know what works for you and who you are, and stick to it. Like it's not the end of the world if you're not adopting a trend. So that's one big mistake that people can do.
Yeah, I agree. There's things in my wardrobe that are a bit outdated. That's probably different. Like, oh, okay, no one really wears those kind of skirts anymore. But sometimes when I am at the shops, because everything is all on trend, sometimes when you know what suits you and what you like, it can be a bit of a struggle when you see everything's on trend. You're like, this isn't me. I'm trying to find clothes that look like me. I found that's been one of my issues lately. I'm like, well, I know what I like. I can only seem to go to one or two certain shops to find it. I guess that does happen though. You'll certain shops have certain, I guess, niches, and you just kind of stick with what you know.
Yeah, exactly right. So going back to what I said about the ratio before, your wardrobe should constitute of 80% of classic perennial pieces. And so your wardrobe, so does your outfit. So if you're wearing, classics from head to toe, and then just add one trend pieces, it's easier to style that piece, because the whole problem is that people have 100%, close to 100% wardrobe made of trends. And then they get all disjointed because these pieces are not easy to style. They're all, completely different. And then you say, oh my God, how do I style these pieces? I love the pieces separately, but together they don't go. So that's the thing. If you create a classic foundation, you can add that odd piece, because that would be the center of attention, the focal point, the fun bit, and you show your personality.
Yeah, and then you don't have to update your wardrobe like every 3 months or something, because you've got your classic pieces, and then you just go and find something nice. Oh, that's that different bag, or that different accessory, or that unique top that you can wear with a plain black skirt or whatever. And then, so that can be more of a treat, but you don't have to go replace your wardrobe every 12 months or anything like that, do you?
No, absolutely not. Because these pieces, as long as you know how to recognize quality, they're supposed to last for years. And quality doesn't come necessarily with the price tags. You can get affordable pieces for great quality, as where some designers don't have quality. So it's really important to recognize quality and spend time trying the garment, investigating, looking into it, and feeling, how the fabric feels. You're gonna wear it. It's money, right? So don't just go and get it. Just spend time investigating, all the details. If it's already cricket in the hanger, it's not a good sign. If the buttons are already popping out, it's not a good sign. Like these little things are big hints of the quality of the garment.
Yeah, and don't just like go to Kmart or Target and just grab the first thing you see. I mean, look, it'll probably last you that one season, but that's probably it. You're better off spending that a little bit more. And I think as well, look, some stuff in, like Target's really great. Don't get me wrong, but I have bought some cheaper items before, and you don't feel your best when you're wearing, oh, it's just a $5 top, or people comment, you go, oh yeah, it was just $5 or whatever, versus yeah, I invested in this piece. Like I don't spend heaps of money on my clothes. Like I think these tops are like $30 or something, which for me is, that's all right. I just, and it'll last me probably a year or two, unless I found out I put them in the washing machine, they catch on things. So I learnt hand washing. But yeah, and then you do feel better though if you aren't just grabbing something, oh, I need some more tops. Oh, look, here's some $5 ones. Yeah. It's better off. You will feel better going, they're $20, that little bit more. I'm in comfort. I'm feeling good. It fits me properly. I'm ready to,
absolutely. Because everything looks so good in a hanger, right? But like once you start to wearing it and washing it, it just gets so wrecked easily. So if you think, like a good thing to think about is how many times you're going to wear the outfit. So it's the cost per wear is so important. So you buy $100 blazer, for example, and how many times you're going to wear it for years, as opposed to wearing one that you're going to wear, one season, and then you're going to be destroyed after the second wash.
Well, I have a jumpsuit, which I bought, I think it was like easily a couple of years ago now, maybe more. I spent like $100 on it at the time, which felt like, whoa, but I feel like it's my power suit. I feel amazing when I wear it. I've definitely worn it plenty of times and it's still in very good condition. So I'm just on the lookout to find another one exactly like it. It makes me feel great, but there's either tassels or fluffy bits, and I'm like, no, I just want something fitted. That's my style. I'll just keep looking. Now, I really love this chat, and I always ask my guests this question, so I'd love to hear your answer. How do you take care of your health and wellness, Silvana?
I've always been into sports, so I've done, gymnastics growing up and volleyball. But then after I had my child, I had a period that I was pretty good. I had a pretty good, but then I stopped for a little while, and then I started to do volleyball again, and then I got injured.
Oh no. That's the thing with sports. You think you're doing the right thing, then you just hurt yourself.
I know, I forget that, nobody's getting any younger. But I've thank God I cannot play volleyball anymore, which is my passion, but I run, and I run, cycle alternatively, and I do yoga, and I do a bit of muscle training, which I don't like, but it's necessary, especially after my injury. So I keep, my husband rides, he's in high performance sports, so he writes my programs and he keeps me busy 6 times a week. So
wow.
So it's very hard. Active. Sometimes I go out running at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. depending on the schedule, but I feel great after that, and it gives me lots of energy, and that's where I have my great ideas, and always outdoors. I don't like treadmills or things like that. So
I'm the same. Need the fresh air. It's very different.
Look, we're lucky in Sydney because the weather is fantastic here for the most part. Yeah.
Yes, very true. And how can people connect with you?
So I'm present on social media, and Instagram is my biggest platform actually, and I share lots of tips there. LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Excellent. And you mentioned before your book as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, my book is it's called The Image of Success. So it's a book on how to create an image that will propel you to success. And that, like I said, it's all backed up with, psychologists and so it's a fun book especially for women who want to take their career or business to the next level, and with the help of their image.
Awesome. And we can purchase that online. Can I provide a link in the show notes for that as well?
Yeah, it's soon to be launched. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Keep you posted, and I can update the show notes
I
when
will
it's done.
definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I love this chat. Very interested in talk about the styling and how it all, the importance of it all and everything, and how to make it like practical and look good and feel good. And yeah, so good. So thank you very much, Silvana. I loved our chat. And thank you, dear listener, for tuning in. You can find show notes for the episode at marketingandme.com.au. If you enjoyed listening, please subscribe and leave me a rating and review via your podcast app or at ratethispodcast.com/marketingandme. If you're interested in connecting with me, feel free to reach out via LinkedIn. Just search for Leanne Shelton and let me know you're a fan of the podcast. And you're also welcome to check out my website to view my portfolio and gain a better understanding of all the awesome stuff I can do for you in your growing health and wellness business. Until next time, I wish you good health and good wealth.